Have you ever asked yourself why you find it so hard to leave a relationship that causes you pain? Deep down, you know this relationship drains your energy, leaves you feeling unfulfilled, and seems locked in a cycle of hurt and disappointment. You've tried to walk away more than once, making firm promises to yourself that this time, it will be different. Yet something keeps pulling you back. But what is it? What is this invisible force that keeps you bound even when your heart is aching? Contrary to what you might think, the answer is not simply the other person's influence over you. It's not just their manipulation, nor is it purely the strength of your affection for them. It's not even because things were once good and might be good again. The real answer lies deeper, in the impact this relationship has had on you, in the emotional and psychological patterns it has activated, and in the old wounds it has managed to reopen. Toxic relationships are far more than just constant arguments, deceit, or emotional games. They are complex emotional experiences that dig into the hidden parts of your psyche, your need for validation, your fear of being alone, and the unresolved pain of your past. What keeps you trapped is not simply the other person, but what they make you feel, how they make you question yourself and the unhealthy bond you've developed. This is why, even if you manage to physically walk away, you find yourself mentally and emotionally revisiting them, justifying their bad behavior, and remembering the few good moments as if they defined the entire relationship. One of the first things you need to understand is that love is not a random feeling. It is something that is learned, shaped, and conditioned throughout our lives. To truly grasp why you feel so attached to someone who brings you pain, you must first understand a concept called attachment. From the moment we are born, we instinctively seek connection with others. This is a survival mechanism. As children, our sense of safety and well-being is closely tied to how we receive affection. If we are raised in an environment where love is given freely and consistently, where our needs are met with care and understanding, we develop a healthy view of relationships. We learn that love is safe, reliable, and nurturing. But for many people, this is not the case. If we grow up in a home where love is mixed with coldness, rejection, inconsistency, or even abuse, our minds learn something very different. We internalize the idea that love is unpredictable, something that must be earned or fought for, something that can hurt. Our brains start associating love with uncertainty and pain. This is where the problem begins. If you have been conditioned to see love as something unstable or even painful, you are far more likely to become attached to someone who treats you inconsistently, someone who is warm one moment and cold the next. This pattern feels familiar, almost like home, even if it is a home that hurts you. When you meet someone who gives affection in small, unpredictable doses, who makes you feel loved one day and ignored the next, it triggers this old programming. Your brain recognizes this uncertainty as love. Instead of feeling safe with someone who is consistently kind and caring, you feel bored. But with someone who makes you fight for their affection, who gives you just enough to keep you hoping, you become hooked. This brings us to one of the biggest reasons people struggle to leave toxic relationships: the fear of loss. But this is not simply a fear of losing the person. It is much more complex. It is the fear of losing the chance to prove yourself, to finally win their love, to turn rejection into acceptance. When your sense of love has been built on the foundation of uncertainty, the idea of walking away becomes unbearable. You may convince yourself that if you just try a little harder, show more patience, or change something about yourself, you can finally make the relationship work. This is an illusion. You are not just trying to save the relationship. You are trying to prove to yourself that you can be loved, that you are good enough, that you are worthy. But here is the truth. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. You are not trapped because of the other person. You are trapped because of the psychological bond that has been created within you. A bond so powerful that it alters your perception, making you accept things you once promised yourself you would never tolerate. If you have ever noticed that, even though this relationship hurts you, there are moments when everything seems perfect, then you are already familiar with one of the most powerful forces keeping you trapped: intermittent reinforcement. This concept comes from behavioral psychology, particularly the work of B.F. Skinner. In experiments with animals, Skinner discovered that the most effective way to keep someone hooked on a habit was not to reward them every time they did something, but to reward them unpredictably. Instead of giving a reward every time a rat pressed a lever, the reward would appear only occasionally. The result? The rats became obsessed, pressing the lever repeatedly, desperate for the next reward. This same mechanism works in toxic relationships. If the other person were cruel all the time, leaving would be easy. But they give you small, random doses of affection. A kind word here, a loving gesture there. Just enough to keep you hooked. Just enough to make you believe that the good moments are the true essence of the relationship, and that the bad ones are just temporary setbacks. You start to live for those fleeting moments of happiness, even though they are surrounded by pain. You convince yourself that if you try hard enough, you can bring back the good times. But this is not love. It is addiction. And the most dangerous part of this addiction is that it changes your standards. In the beginning, you may have expected respect, honesty, and commitment. But over time, you start accepting less and less. You tell yourself that a brief moment of kindness is enough, that a half-hearted apology is a victory. You become willing to accept crumbs because you have forgotten that you deserve more. But why is it so hard to see the truth of this situation? Why do you keep questioning yourself, feeling confused, or even wondering if you are the problem? The answer lies in the toxic person's use of psychological manipulation, particularly gaslighting, projection, and other forms of emotional control. Gaslighting is one of the most devastating forms of manipulation. It is when someone distorts reality to make you doubt your own perceptions, memories, and even your sanity. They deny things you saw with your own eyes, accuse you of being too sensitive, or claim you are making things up. Over time, you begin to doubt yourself, replaying conversations in your head, wondering if you are overreacting. Projection is another tool of manipulation. This is when the toxic person takes their own negative traits or actions and accuses you of them. If they are dishonest, they call you a liar. If they are unfaithful, they accuse you of cheating. This tactic not only deflects blame from them, but also leaves you feeling guilty for things you never did. These manipulations serve a single purpose: to control you. When your sense of reality is shattered, when you are constantly questioning yourself, it becomes much easier for them to keep you trapped. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of toxic relationships is the constant hope that things will get better. Even when the pain becomes unbearable, a small part of you continues to believe that if you just try a little harder, if you just show more love or patience, everything will change. But this is an illusion. Real change does not happen because you want it to. It does not happen because you love someone enough. It does not happen because you have sacrificed so much of yourself that there is nothing left. Real change only happens when the other person recognizes their own behavior and has a genuine desire to transform. And that desire must come from within them, not from your pleading, not from your suffering. Yet toxic people are experts at giving you false hope. They apologize when they sense they are losing control. They promise to change, to be better, to become the person you always dreamed they could be. For a brief moment you feel relieved, as if all your struggles were worth it. But it doesn't last. The same patterns return and the cycle continues. This cycle is not accidental. It is a method of maintaining control. The toxic person knows that as long as they keep giving you hope, you will keep coming back. They do not need to be kind all the time. They only need to be kind just enough to keep you hooked. But you need to understand something. You are not waiting for a happy ending. You are stuck in a loop, and the only way out is to let go of the illusion that they will change. The only way out is to accept that this relationship will never become what you hoped it could be. Another powerful force that keeps people trapped in toxic relationships is the fear of loneliness. But this fear is not as simple as it seems. It is not just about being physically alone. It is about feeling worthless, unwanted, and unlovable. It is about the belief that without this person, you will have nothing. Society often reinforces this fear. Movies, songs, and social media all tell us that being loved is the ultimate goal. Being in a relationship is seen as a sign of success, while being single is viewed as a failure. But this is a lie. The truth is that being in a toxic relationship is far worse than being alone because it destroys your self-worth piece by piece. Toxic people are experts at feeding this fear. They may tell you that no one else will love you like they do. They may isolate you from your friends or family, making you feel like they are your only source of support. Over time, you begin to believe them. You start to think that this is the best you can do, that no one else would understand you or care for you. But what you are actually feeling is not fear of being alone. It is withdrawal. You have become dependent on the small doses of affection they give you, just like a drug. You are not afraid of being single. You are afraid of losing the hope that one day they will finally love you the way you want. If you have ever found yourself asking, "Am I exaggerating? Am I the problem? Maybe I'm just being too sensitive," then you have experienced the devastating effects of psychological manipulation. One of the most damaging tactics in toxic relationships is gaslighting, a form of emotional abuse where the other person distorts reality to make you question your own thoughts, feelings, and memories. It starts with small things. They deny saying something you clearly remember. They tell you that you are overreacting or being too dramatic. They accuse you of being the problem, of being too needy or too demanding. Over time, this constant denial of your reality makes you doubt yourself. You start to second-guess your own experiences. You begin to believe that maybe you are the one causing the problems, but this is not the truth. This is a deliberate tactic used to keep you under control. When you doubt yourself, you become dependent on the toxic person to define what is real. You lose confidence in your own perceptions and rely on them to tell you what is right and wrong. This is not love, it is manipulation. Another common tactic is projection. If they are dishonest, they accuse you of being a liar. If they are unfaithful, they accuse you of cheating. This tactic not only deflects blame from them, but also makes you feel guilty for things you never did. You find yourself constantly trying to defend yourself, constantly trying to prove your innocence, and in the process you become more and more entangled in their web of control. By now you may be wondering, if I understand all of this, why can't I just walk away? The answer is because leaving a toxic relationship is not just a logical decision. It is an emotional struggle. It is about breaking a powerful psychological bond that has been carefully created over time. But there is hope. You can break free. And it starts with understanding that you are not weak for staying. You are not stupid for believing their lies. You are not unworthy because someone treated you badly. You are human, and like all humans, you are capable of being hurt, of being manipulated, of loving even when that love is not returned. The first step to breaking free is a complete break, a commitment to no contact. This means blocking them on your phone, avoiding their social media, and refusing to engage with them in any way. This may seem harsh, but it is essential. Every time you interact with them, you reopen the wound. Every message, every phone call, is a chance for them to manipulate you again, to pull you back into the cycle. But no contact is not enough on its own. You must also reprogram your mind. This means understanding that what you feel is not love. It is addiction. It is the result of intermittent reinforcement, of being conditioned to accept less and less while hoping for more. It is the result of having your self-esteem destroyed, of being told that you are not good enough. You must remind yourself of who you were before this relationship. What did you love? What made you happy? What were your dreams, your passions, your values? Toxic relationships have a way of making you lose yourself, but you can rediscover who you are. As you distance yourself from the toxic person, you will begin to feel an emptiness. This is normal. It is not a sign that you made a mistake. It is a sign that you are healing. Your brain has been conditioned to seek this person, to crave their attention, and breaking that habit is a painful process. But instead of trying to escape the emptiness, you must learn to fill it with something new. Reconnect with old friends. Take up hobbies that you once loved. Explore new interests and, most importantly, practice self-care. Remind yourself every day that you are worthy of love and respect, not because someone else says so, but because you are a human being with inherent value. Create a list of the things this person did to hurt you, and whenever you feel the urge to go back, read it. Do not let yourself romanticize the past. Remember the pain, the confusion, the betrayal. Remember how small you felt, how you lost yourself. And as you begin to rebuild your identity, you will start to see the truth more clearly. You will realize that this relationship was never love, it was control. You will see that the person you were trying so hard to please was never truly capable of giving you the love you deserved. But most importantly, you will see that you do not need them. You never did. You are enough on your own. The journey to healing from a toxic relationship is not an easy one. It is not a straight line. There will be days when you feel strong, confident, and proud of your decision to walk away. But there will also be days when you feel lost, lonely, and tempted to go back. This is normal. Healing is a process, not a destination. One of the most important things you can do during this time is to be gentle with yourself. You have been through an emotional battle, and it takes time to recover. You may experience feelings of guilt, shame, anger, or even longing for the person who hurt you. Do not judge yourself for these feelings. They are a natural part of the healing process. Surround yourself with people who truly care about you, friends, family, or even support groups. Talk about your feelings, even if they don't make sense. Writing in a journal can also be incredibly therapeutic. It allows you to express your thoughts without fear of judgment, helping you make sense of your emotions. But healing is not just about avoiding the toxic person. It is about understanding why you were drawn to them in the first place. This means facing the deeper wounds that may have made you vulnerable. Wounds from childhood, from past relationships, or from your own self-esteem issues. Consider seeking therapy or counseling to help you explore these deeper issues. A skilled therapist can help you identify unhealthy patterns, challenge negative beliefs, and build a stronger sense of self. Remember that healing is not about forgetting what happened. It is about learning from it. It is about recognizing your own worth and refusing to settle for anything less than the love and respect you deserve. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood aspects of healing. Many people believe that forgiving someone means excusing their behavior or allowing them back into your life. But this is not true. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about freeing yourself. When you hold on to anger, resentment, or hatred, you continue to give the toxic person power over you. You allow them to live in your mind, to poison your thoughts, and to keep you trapped in the past. Forgiveness is the decision to let go of this burden, not for their sake, but for your own. This does not mean you have to tell them you forgive them. In fact, in many cases, it is better to keep your distance. Forgiveness is an internal process. It is a decision you make in your own heart, a choice to release the pain and focus on your own healing. But do not rush this process. True forgiveness cannot be forced. It comes naturally as you heal, as you rebuild your sense of self, and as you begin to see the toxic person for who they truly are. A flawed, broken individual who does not have the power to define your worth. 1. Of the most beautiful things about healing is that it gives you the chance to reclaim your power. Toxic relationships have a way of making you feel small, of making you doubt your own strength. But the truth is, you are incredibly strong. You have survived the storm, and now you have the opportunity to rebuild your life on your own terms. This is your time to rediscover who you are, to pursue the dreams you once set aside, and to create a life that brings you joy. Do not be afraid to set boundaries with others and with yourself. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to prioritize your own happiness. Surround yourself with positivity. Seek out people who encourage you, who make you feel valued, and who respect you. If someone does not treat you with kindness and respect, they do not deserve a place in your life. Reclaiming your power also means redefining love. Love is not a battlefield. It is not something you have to fight for, nor is it something that causes you pain. Love is safe, kind, and consistent. Love is built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. One day you will wake up, and the thought of the toxic person will not cause you pain. Their words will no longer echo in your mind. Their absence will no longer feel like a loss. Instead, you will feel a sense of peace, a sense of freedom. You will look at yourself in the mirror and see someone who is strong, resilient, and worthy of love. But this day will not come by accident. It will be the result of all the hard work you have done, the tears you cried, the battles you fought within yourself, and the courage you showed in letting go. It will be the result of choosing yourself, day after day, even when it was hard, and when this day comes, you will understand that the toxic person did not break you. They only revealed your strength. They showed you what you will never again accept. They taught you to love yourself enough to walk away from anything that does not serve you. This is your story. A story of pain, but also of healing. A story of loss, but also of growth. A story of darkness, but also of light. And this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Leaving a toxic relationship is not just about escaping another person. It is about escaping the part of yourself that believed you were unworthy of real love. It is about freeing yourself from the fear of being alone, from the addiction to intermittent affection, and from the lies you were told about who you are. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not defined by someone else's inability to love you. You are strong. You are worthy. You are enough. And the moment you truly believe this, the chains that once held you will fall away. You will no longer crave the validation of someone who never truly valued you. You will no longer mistake inconsistency for passion or cruelty for love. Instead, you will walk forward with confidence, knowing that you deserve a love that is kind, a love that is steady, a love that is real. So take a deep breath. Look in the mirror. Remind yourself of your worth, and take that first step away from the pain, away from the lies, and towards the life you deserve.